Have you ever stood up from a chair, taken your first step, and felt that tiny pause inside your body, almost like your legs were asking, "Are we steady today?" Or maybe you've caught yourself gripping furniture, avoiding stairs, or walking a little slower than you used to, not because you want to, but because falling feels like a real possibility now. If you're over 60, you're not weak, you're not imagining it, and you're definitely not alone. Fear of falling in older adults is one of the most common, and least talked about, challenges of aging. But here's the part most people get wrong. Falls aren't caused by age itself. They're caused by what quietly happens to your muscles when they stop being challenged. Now here's the surprising question. What if protecting yourself from falls after 70 isn't about being more careful, but about doing one specific thing to protect your muscles? Something simple you can start today, right at home? This isn't about extreme workouts, risky movements, or pushing through pain. It's about understanding how muscle strength and aging really work, why balance changes, and the exact actions that help your body stay stable, confident, and responsive as the years go by. So before you take your next step, ask yourself, what if the fear isn't the problem, but a signal your body is asking you to act? To begin with, it's essential to remove the emotional weight that often comes with this subject, because fear of falling in older adults is not a flaw, a failure, or a sign that something is wrong with you. It is the brain doing exactly what it was designed to do, quietly evaluating risk and becoming more protective over time. As healthy aging over 60 progresses, especially after a slip, a stumble, or even hearing about someone else's fall, the brain naturally increases caution. That brief hesitation before stepping off a curb or standing up is not weakness, but instinct working in your favor. The challenge appears when that protective instinct slowly begins to shape daily behavior without you realizing it. Movement starts to decrease, walks become shorter, stairs are avoided, and sitting feels safer than moving. In the moment, these choices seem harmless and even sensible, but over time they quietly reduce muscle strength and aging resilience. Leg strength for seniors begins to fade, balance reactions slow down, and senior mobility and stability are gradually affected. Eventually, the fear feels justified, even though it was the reduction in movement that created the vulnerability in the first place. This process can be understood as a kind of movement savings account. Each time walking to the mailbox is skipped or standing up without using the hands is avoided, a small withdrawal is made. When those withdrawals add up, muscles weaken, balance responses become less reliable, and reliance on support increases. This pattern feeds directly into sarcopenia and aging, where muscle loss accelerates when the body is not challenged enough to maintain strength. As the body changes, the mind notices, confidence declines, and balance exercises for seniors begin to feel intimidating rather than empowering. What's important to understand is that this cycle does not begin with fear, but with reduced movement. Fear of falling in older adults often shows up after strength, balance, and reaction time have already started to change. This means fear is more of a warning signal than a cause, pointing to areas that need attention rather than something to suppress or ignore. When fear is treated as information instead of an enemy, it becomes easier to respond in a constructive way. For this reason, the goal is not to force bravery or push through fear, because that approach rarely lasts. What truly works is preparation that rebuilds confidence gradually and consistently. When exercise for fall prevention strengthens muscles, small daily movements support balance, and preventing falls at home becomes a matter of awareness rather than restriction, fear begins to loosen its grip naturally. And once that shift starts to happen, it opens the door to a deeper understanding of why this issue matters so much right now and how addressing it can change what comes next. This is the moment where understanding turns into action, because confidence doesn't come from knowing what's wrong with the body, it comes from knowing exactly what to do next and why it works. When it comes to fear of falling in older adults, clarity is what restores control, and that's where the strong framework comes in, offering a simple and practical way to support fall prevention after 70 without overcomplication. Everything begins with strengthening the legs and hips, since leg strength for seniors forms the foundation of nearly every safe movement, whether it's standing up from a chair, turning to change direction, or stepping back quickly to recover from a stumble. Without this base, senior mobility and stability become fragile no matter how careful you try to be. Alongside strength, balance needs regular attention, not in long or exhausting sessions, but through small daily doses that allow balance exercises for seniors to retrain the brain and body to communicate smoothly again, much like daily hygiene habits that only work when done consistently. Equally important is taking time to review risks, which means staying aware of vision changes, understanding how certain medications may affect dizziness or reaction time, and actively preventing falls at home by improving lighting, removing loose rugs, and adding simple supports where they're needed. Supporting this process also involves optimizing protein intake, because muscle strength and aging are closely connected, and muscles need proper fuel to repair and maintain themselves over time. The final elements of this framework help everything work together. Paying attention to warning signs, such as increasing stiffness, hesitation during movement, or repeated near falls, allows early adjustments instead of reacting after an injury occurs. Moving progressively and safely ensures that exercise for fall prevention builds confidence rather than fear, allowing the body to adapt steadily. With this structure in place, the next step becomes simple, which is turning these principles into a short routine that fits easily into everyday life. This is where the strong framework becomes practical and tangible, turning understanding into movement and movement into confidence. The routine is intentionally short and realistic, designed to fit into daily life without requiring a gym, special equipment, or intense effort. A sturdy chair, a counter or table nearby, and a few focused minutes are enough to begin improving senior mobility and stability in a safe and controlled way. The routine starts with the chair test, a simple movement that reveals valuable information. Sitting down and standing up 5 times may seem basic, but it provides insight into leg strength for seniors and balance control by showing how much the arms are used for support, whether the knees drift inward, or if there's a moment of instability at the top of the movement. These observations aren't judgments or failures, but signals that help identify how muscle strength and aging may already be influencing everyday motion, much like checking a dashboard before driving. From there, the sit-to-stand exercise builds directly on that awareness. Standing up from a chair reflects one of the most frequent movements of the day, which is why strengthening this pattern plays such a central role in fall prevention after 70. By keeping the feet hip-width apart, leaning slightly forward, standing tall, and sitting back down slowly, coordination and strength improve together. Adjusting the difficulty over time allows exercise for fall prevention to remain approachable and sustainable rather than intimidating. Heel raises come next, focusing on the ankles, which quietly play a critical role in balance and recovery from missteps. Holding a counter and rising onto the toes strengthens the lower legs and improves reaction time, supporting balance exercises for seniors in a way that often goes unnoticed until stability begins to improve. Side steps then target the hips, which are essential for staying steady when turning, stepping sideways, or navigating tight spaces at home. Strengthening these muscles directly supports preventing falls at home during everyday tasks such as moving around furniture or stepping into the shower. The routine finishes with the counterbalance drill, a brief daily practice that trains the nervous system to remain calm and steady while standing on one leg. This simple exercise acts like a daily vitamin for balance, reinforcing control and awareness in a gentle but effective way. Taken together, these few minutes do more than work the body. They rebuild trust in movement, and once that shift begins to happen, it naturally leads to the next question, which is understanding why such simple actions have such a powerful effect on reducing fall risk and supporting long-term stability. At this stage, it's natural to wonder whether something this simple can truly make a difference, and that's a reasonable question to ask. The reassuring answer is yes, not because of trends, motivation, or wishful thinking, but because decades of research consistently point in the same direction. When it comes to fear of falling in older adults, the most reliable solution is not avoiding movement, but engaging in targeted, intentional movement that trains the body to respond effectively. High-quality studies repeatedly show that exercise for fall prevention reduces both the number of falls and the severity of their consequences in older adults who live independently. What makes these programs effective is not how intense or complicated they are, but how specific they are. Exercises that improve leg strength for seniors, sharpen balance strategies, and retrain reaction time directly support the systems responsible for keeping the body upright. Balance exercises for seniors work because they challenge the brain and muscles together, helping them respond quickly when something unexpected happens, such as catching a toe on a rug or turning too quickly in the kitchen. Over time, the body develops new default responses, gradually replacing hesitation with steadiness and panic with control, which has a powerful impact on senior mobility and stability. Another reason this approach works so well is that it builds real confidence, not forced positivity or empty reassurance. When the body feels stronger and more stable, movement patterns improve naturally, making walking feel smoother, standing up feel more controlled, and everyday steps feel less uncertain. This directly interrupts the cycle of muscle strength and aging decline, where fear leads to inactivity and inactivity accelerates weakness. Instead, movement becomes reinforcing, as small improvements build trust in the body, encourage more activity, and further support fall prevention after 70. The most effective programs also share another important feature, which is that they don't rely on a single element. They combine balance training, functional movements, and resistance work, addressing sarcopenia and aging at a deeper level while also reducing environmental risk. This is why simple routines performed consistently tend to outperform complex plans that are followed only occasionally. And once it becomes clear why this approach works, another realization naturally follows, which is that exercise alone is not enough unless the muscles themselves are properly supported over time. If fall prevention after 70 is the goal, then protecting muscle must remain a priority rather than an afterthought. Muscle is the engine behind senior mobility and stability, cushioning missteps, stabilizing joints, and allowing the body to react instead of freezing in uncertain moments. Without adequate muscle support, even the best balance exercises for seniors lose part of their effectiveness, which is why muscle strength and aging deserve focused attention. One area where confusion often arises is strength training frequency. 2 to 3 days per week of resistance-based movement is enough to produce meaningful benefits, without requiring heavy weights or gym memberships. Practical movements such as chair stands during television time, step-ups on the bottom stair, wall push-ups during short breaks, or resistance bands kept at home all contribute to building leg strength for seniors in a repeatable and realistic way. What matters most is consistency rather than intensity, focusing on movements that can be sustained comfortably over time. Nutrition also plays a critical role, particularly when it comes to protein intake. As the body ages, it becomes less efficient at using protein to repair and rebuild muscle, which means older adults often need more protein than they did earlier in life. Supporting muscle repair helps slow sarcopenia and aging and allows exercise for fall prevention to deliver better results. In everyday terms, this can look like including eggs or Greek yogurt at breakfast, beans or lean meats at lunch, and fish or poultry at dinner, spread across the day to support muscle health steadily. Anyone with kidney concerns should continue to follow medical guidance, but for many people, this adjustment is both manageable and beneficial. It's also important to challenge the belief that it's too late to make a difference. Research consistently shows that even older adults already experiencing muscle loss can improve strength and functional performance through resistance training. The body remains responsive at every age when given the right signals. As muscles begin to strengthen, confidence naturally follows, which is especially meaningful for those living with fear of falling in older adults. And as confidence grows, attention naturally expands outward toward other factors, such as vision, medications, and the home environment, which can quietly influence fall risk even when exercise and nutrition are in place. This is the point where understanding turns into action, because everything covered here leads to a simple and powerful truth. Protecting balance, muscle, and independence is not a matter of luck or age, but of daily choices made consistently over time. Fear of falling in older adults does not disappear when it's ignored, but it gradually fades when muscle strength and aging are addressed with thoughtful movement, awareness, and care. It's worth reflecting on how daily life might change as trust in the body begins to return, when stairs feel less intimidating, standing up feels solid and controlled, and preventing falls at home becomes a natural habit rather than a constant concern. Fall prevention after 70 is possible, and understanding how balance exercises for seniors work, why leg strength for seniors forms the foundation of stability, and how exercise for fall prevention supports long-term senior mobility and stability puts the control back in your hands. What remains now is application, and that begins with a single step taken today, whether that means choosing one exercise, adopting one habit, or making one small change that supports healthy aging over 60. Progress doesn't require perfection, only consistency. If this video helped shift how you think about aging and movement, liking it helps this message reach more people who need it. Sharing it with someone you care about can help prevent injuries and preserve independence. Subscribing to the channel and turning on notifications allows you to continue learning practical, science-based strategies to protect your health with clarity and confidence. And when you're ready, the next video on your screen goes even deeper into simple, effective ways to stay strong, stable, and independent as the years go by.